There's another leaked Eldar datasheet out there, and it seems to confirm that the Eldar are getting at least one new plastic warlock. Hello and welcome back to Warspets Tactics, where today we're both getting a look at a new leaked model and also some more leaked rules. Continuing with the theme of the Eldar Codex revealing itself far before it should be, it appears that another playtest datasheet has been leaked to the internet, so let's talk about the power of some Craftworld psychers. First up, we'll look at the new model and then talk about the new rules and points. As seems standard for Games Workshop leaks these days, this one does appear to have been shot in blur camera, though I guess the image is fairly small to start with, basically the picture of the warlock that comes next to the datasheet. I think it's been posted quite a bit around the internet already, but I first saw it on the Eldari Discord server, which I'll leave a link to down in the video description. It's there in the Eldari Leaks channel if you want to take a look. In any case, this warlock does not appear to be a current model. The warlocks have had a fair few incarnations over the years. There were a few individual ones you could buy, though for the current ones you've either got the choice of the plastic warlock Skyrunner, or the Finecast ones that come packaged alongside a Farseer, and I think they are quite nice models to be fair. In any case, this guy does really seem to be keeping their aesthetic. He perhaps looks like he's holding an Eldar rune pendant of some sort, and he's armed with a witchblade. In any case, that does mean that they'll be getting a new plastic warlock in some sort, maybe an entire new Warlock Conclave kit. That would be very nice indeed, but I guess it's not impossible it could just be a single character release. I guess that wouldn't be the worst, but it might be a bit sad if you wanted to field an entire Conclave in plastic, and there's even the small possibility that it could perhaps be a Corsair Kill Team box upgrade. That's a kit that's been very heavily rumoured. I believe they were rumoured to include a Warlock in their ranks, so it's not entirely impossible that he could be from that set. I'd say maybe that might be the least likely of the three though. In any case, I'm sure for the Eldar, it's always nice to have another model out of Finecast and into plastic. Moving on though, let's talk about the new Warlock rules, with a review of their datasheet, though I must admit things are still a little bit incomplete at the moment, not knowing their entire full list of psychic powers. In any case, it does appear that Warlocks are moving from the HQ slot to be an Elite's choice, and what's more, when he did previously have two different Warlock datasheets, now the two ones on foot have been combined. This one basically both represents the standard Warlock and the Warlock Conclave. You can field them in unit sizes of 1 to 6 now, compared with if you're fielding just the one, a bodyguard for a Farseer, or an entire big squad. That is still a smaller squad than you could field before though. I believe you could have up to 10 previously. I feel with quite a lot of the new codexes, they are limiting squad sizes a little bit, just to make them not the most obvious target for stratagems. In any case, it does appear that they have a slightly weird binary points cost system going on. If you're fielding just the one model, then they count as a character unit, and in that case they cost 40 points, but if you field two or more, then they're going to be 20 points per model. I think that does kind of make sense. If you're getting the character protection, it makes them a bit more useful, and as we'll get onto, they only get the extra cast if you have 4 or more models anyway, otherwise there'd basically be no reason to field 2 or 3. In any case, standard Warlocks look like they'll be 20 points per model, or plus 5 for the Singing Spear. They are now an Elite's choice, a very congested slot for the Eldar with all their aspect warriors and things, but these ones are quite handy in that you can take them slotless if you have a Farseer in your army. Finally, it would also seem that the Skyrunner Warlocks are a different datasheet. They seem to cost 35 points each in this playtester codex, or 60 points if you just run one. Sorry, not 50 as I wrote here. It also seems that you only get 1 to 3 Skyrunner Warlocks. I'm sure if so, that won't be a popular change for people who really quite like their Jetseer councils. Definitely a very niche and costly build within the Eldar Codex, but I did see people using it competitively from time to time. For the stats of the Warlocks, they're more or less unchanged. Movement 7, Weapon Skill and Ballistic Skill 3+, Strength and Toughness 3, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, Leadership 8 and a 6+ save, and a 4+ invul from their rune armor. Nothing significantly changed there. They're still going to be hideously fragile if they are an individual character. Basically any small arms will just kill them dead. They don't appear to be a core unit for buffs, and they're not characters unless you just have one of them. As per normal for these new Eldar, they do appear to have the Battle Focus and Strands of Fate abilities. A bit of move shoot move seems pretty excellent on these guys, provided you can actually make a shooting attack, and Strands of Fate I'm sure will be very relevant in the Psychic phase. Dialing in an automatic 6 to cast with their Warlock powers will certainly make them a lot more reliable, and make sure you get any of those tricky 7 casts off, which was always a bit disappointing if you'd fail it with Protect or Jinx or something. Next up, it seems to be only minimal changes for their weapons. Same as before, they're armed with a Singing Spear or Witchblade plus a Shuriken pistol. The Singing Spear's seen a decent buff, going up to a big flat damage 3 rather than the D3 it was before. though it still does remain AP 0 and wounds everything on a 2+ regardless of toughness. The shooting's the same as it was before, except it's gone up to a flat damage of 3 rather than D3. Witchblades do appear to have been altered slightly though. Again, they wound on a 2+ against everything, but now they're AP -1 instead of 0 and damage 2 instead of damage D3. In melee, they still seem fairly decently balanced against the singing spears. Damage 3 is excellent, though AP 0 is pretty bad. I think really what you're paying for with the singing spears is their extra power in the shooting phase. Finally, we get onto their psychic rules, where so far the Warlock psychic powers don't appear to have been leaked anywhere, though there are a couple of rumours from that advent calendar that the Discord server did previously. On the datasheet, it says that the unit will normally know 1 power, cast 1 and deny 1, though now, like quite a lot of psychers, they don't seem to have any sort of limitations on their smite, so they get the full D3 mortal wound cast if they do get in range. It means that as it goes within 40k for 40 points for a cast of smite, that's really not the worst deal. Otherwise though, if you do go the conclave approach, if you have 4+ models in the unit, then they can know 1 additional power from the runes of battle, and if they remain having 4+ models in the unit without the enemy killing them, then they can cast 2 runes of battle per turn rather than 1. I've got no idea about their conclave stratagem that they had before. That was one of the best reasons to field the Warlock conclave, a 1 command point buff to make the Warlock conclave powers massively longer ranged. If that remains, it could be another powerful reason to take more Warlocks rather than just the 1. As for rumoured psychic powers, no official confirmation whatsoever yet, but one of the things that's been repeatedly rumoured quite a bit is that Quicken will no longer allow you to charge after double moving. I can kind of see why they might do that, to be honest. It just became basically an auto-include ploy for every single Eldar list, double moving a fast unit like Shining Spears around the battlefield to get charges on crazily far-flung things that were absolutely nowhere near them and even far outside the range of their massive movement characteristic. Still though, even if you can't charge after doing that, it will by no means be a useless spell. Having crazy movement to get some decent shooting on enemies that are hiding still seems pretty plausible. Otherwise, the rumours had the other powers largely unchanged. That does seem pretty reasonable to me. I think they've done really quite well with the Warlock powers. Almost every single one was decently usable on one unit or another. And if with this new datasheet you're able to get those powers for just 40 points rather than 50, then that's going to be a big win in my opinion. Warlocks just seem to be a very cheap way to get some very powerful abilities on the battlefield, even if the individual models are very fragile and need some screening. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Are you tempted by this new incarnation of the Warlock Conclave, or do you think that individual support Warlocks might be a better way to go for them? If you've enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics, or certainly keep the regular 40k things coming, including any more leaks and rumours out of the Eldar Codex that I find. With all these models and things, it certainly looks like the elves are in for a treat. Finally, if you have been enjoying all the videos on the channel, I would just like to mention that Auspex Tactics does have a Patreon page, and you can find that down in the video description below. Channel patrons do get a fair few benefits, including seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things happen next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways with a chance to win some really big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you, or you'd just like to help support, then the link is down in the video description. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.